Bienvenidos una vez más al canal del Planeta Financiero. Mi nombre es Kaiser Pravia. Estoy súper emocionado. Creo que esto es uno de los videos más importantes que hemos tenido en el canal entre los últimos 800 videos. Está, obviamente, la persona que está en pantalla quizá ni siquiera está entendiendo lo que estoy tratando de compartir, pero es el CEO de una empresa en la que invierto que se llama Mamas Creations. Ya le hicimos la tesis. Cada 3 meses estamos revisando sus resultados trimestrales. De hecho, quizá este video salga el mismo día que sus resultados trimestrales, así que vamos a estar haciendo otro revisándolos. Pero bueno, yo sé que hoy vamos a escuchar a Adam Michaels, no a mí, así que vamos directamente a pasar en inglés. Aquí abajo van a tener los subtítulos y por favor aprecien esto. Estas preguntas están basadas en las que ustedes nos dejaron en el grupo de la comunidad y en diferentes redes sociales. Así que nada, súper agradecido por todo y vamos a empezar con la entrevista. Adam, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with the Spanish speaking community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And I apologize. My Spanish didn't do as well in school as it should have been.
It's fine, I guess. So, if you had to pitch Mama's Creations in 30 seconds for a long-term investor, what would it be?
Yeah, so the idea of Mama's Creations is we are going to be the one-stop shop. We are already the one-stop shop in the deli. In the US, the deli is about a $40 billion deli prepared foods. So think anything from Italian meals to Korean barbecue meatballs to fajitas, anything that you're buying at any store you shop at, either in the hot bar, the cold bar, the prepared food set, the grab and go set, and we're there for you. We're in all 50 states. We're in every Costco in America, every BJ's in America, every Sam's Club in America, Albertsons on the West Coast, Ahold on the East, Publix down south. Um, and, we continue to grow and meet the needs of grandma quality offerings.
Okay, good. That's a good one. That's a good one, I have to
That's a
say.
good
I
one.
know the company, that's a good pitch.
There
So,
you go.
we all know, the investors, that the principal objective is to be at 1 billion in 2030. That's right, in
Around
revenues.
there. I hope you don't mind if it's 2031, but yes, that's the goal.
So, what are the key drivers for that growth? It's in 5 years, 6, 7 years. It's
Yeah.
it's a very ambitious goal, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So actually, yes, it is ambitious. That said, it's not a theory. We've actually built it SKU by SKU and shared that with the board. Quite simply, it's 50-50. 50% of it is organic growth, meaning we're going to grow ourselves, and 50% we're going to acquire $500 million of revenue. In my past life, I've been in the food space for quite a while. The last role
Yes.
I had was with Mondelez, with Nabisco, and I led their M&A in North America. So I have a little bit of experience with buying food companies and integrating them. So 500 million of inorganic growth, and then 500 million of growing the business ourselves. There's three ways we're going to grow the business. First, and the most important, average items carried. When I started, we had fewer than under 5 items carried. Now we have over 7. Actually, if you take out club, which is usually fewer items, we're over 10. So the first thing is continue to grow more and more items in the customers we have. Why do I love that so much? Because I'm cheap, right? And it is much easier to get new items into existing customers. They know us already. We've already filled out all the paperwork. The truck is already going there. It actually reduces our freight costs. So number one for me is getting average items carried up. Number two, driving velocities. We have amazing leaders. Chris Darling just came in as our head of sales, Lauren Sella as our chief marketing officer. And they are doing a great job using trade spending and marketing spending to massively accelerate our velocities of existing items. I'm very passionate about what gets measured, gets improved. Every single month, we're tracking what is the ROAS, return on advertising spend, return on investment on trade. And the numbers we're seeing, incredible. You know, Instacart, 6 to 1. I give Instacart $1, they give me $6 back in retail spend. Some of the Walmart numbers are double digits. So, number two, driving velocities of our existing items. And then third, I know it's always sexy for investors, but the third most important one is getting into new doors. Last year, we
Yeah.
got into Walmart. Chris is doing an amazing job with conversations in Minneapolis with Target and Cincinnati with Kroger. So there's always new doors that we could get into. Those three things are going to get us that $500 million of organic growth. Average items carried, velocities, and new doors.
Perfect, perfect. We'll go through M&As and more of the
Of
company
course.
later. I want to get back to you. So, as a manager, I already knew that you had experience in the food industry, of
A
course.
little bit, a little bit.
But as a manager, what mistake have you made in the past that you won't make here in Mamas?
How many hours do we have to talk about all my mistakes? We need lots of hours. We need a couple days. Um, yeah, I mean that just so many mistakes. I think for me, one thing that has changed from the role I have now, as the CEO of Mama's Creations, and when I first started back at Mondelez, back when I was doing management consulting, and PepsiCo was my biggest client. I spent 6 years with PepsiCo all over the world. Um, I tried to do everything myself when I was younger. I will tell you that. I was not a good delegator, I think, and that's a big opportunity. That was a big opportunity for me. What I love is in this role, my job is to set the direction, and my goal is to be the biggest cheerleader for our team. We now have over 300 employees, and let's be absolutely clear, I am the least important person of the 300 employees, right? We have amazing folks that make our grandma quality meatballs and make our grilled chicken and our olives and our paninis. And those are the folks. My favorite thing, so today I'm in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Right across the street is our New Jersey facility, or I'm in Farmingdale, Long Island. Every day, if I'm not hanging out with investors like you, I'm in the plant. And my favorite thing to do is walking the line. I probably walk the line, I'm not exaggerating, 12 times a day. And that's my favorite time to spend to see our employees and actually to learn, to see, and hey, maybe we could do this more efficiently, or how do we do this differently? But the biggest, development opportunity for me is not being the guy that's driving the work as much as setting the direction and trusting my team to deliver on those things. And I would tell you, just as much as it helps me, it helps them too because they want to be empowered, right? And they want to be owners of the work. So I'd probably say that's the biggest thing that I have had to learn during the transition from past jobs.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I can back that because I have spoke to a couple of folks in the company, and
Wow,
we
now I'm nervous.
we met in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. People in
Yes,
the community knows about that. You gave me this pin. I'm wearing it
yes,
with pride, and yeah, we invest in people as well, right?
very much. Yeah.
I have a team in my company as well, and it's very important to be with them and all the work you do. So thank you for doing that. And looking in the future, um, what legacy do you want to leave in Mama's Creations as in the part of your history and the company history as well?
Yeah, first I hope you're not kicking me out too quickly. I feel like I just got here. It's been about 3 years. I actually learned very early. It's actually Indra Nooyi was the CEO of PepsiCo, and I remember we were doing a project. I don't remember why, but someone was interviewing her, and she said, someone asked her if she was successful. It was towards the end of her career, and she actually said, "Actually, I can't tell you if I was successful or not. My level of success is 5 years from now, where is the company placed? And that is my measure of success." And I really took that to heart. So my job is to actually build a strong foundation, build the team. That's the legacy I'm leaving. It's not hitting this quarter's revenue numbers or even where the revenues end up when I leave. If I leave, I hope I don't want to leave, but it's a team I'm building. I am super proud. Uh, we have 100% new leadership team. I spent the first 2 years here with the number one goal of building the team. I actually told the board I wouldn't start. 3 years ago, I told the board I wouldn't even start until I hired my own CFO, and Anthony Gruber is doing an amazing job. Then I hired Lauren Sella as our chief marketing officer. Just at the end of last year, Skip Tappan, our chief operating officer, and Chris Darling, our chief commercial officer, um, that's where I spent all my energy. It wasn't making widgets, it wasn't making meatballs and chicken. It was spent building the team because it's the team, it's building the strong foundation. If you remember how I started, when I started, I had three C's: cost, controls, and culture,
Yes.
right? The first thing that's really important, where is growth? Everyone always talks about growth, right? Tons of revenue. Do you hear revenue in any of those numbers? No.
No.
Because what's the sense of growing a business that's unprofitable, that
Yeah.
doesn't have the right culture, that doesn't have the right controls? So for me, my first couple of years were getting cost. When I started, gross margins were 11.9%. I got them to over 30%, right? You can't run a business at 11% gross margins. Two, you got to have controls, right?
Yeah.
When I first got here, every quarter we were throwing out like $100,000 of inventory because there was no measurement. What gets measured gets improved. So we have to have controls in place. And most important, more important than those first two, is the right culture. I'm here for the long term. I'm building a company for the long term. That means you have to have the right culture in place. And over 3 years, what I feel great about, again, is not revenue. It's the fact that I've built a stronger ship with a stronger foundation, with a better crew. And because of all the controls and all the systems we put in place, we have a better navigational system, right? That
Yes.
is why we're going to win, not because of the latest new item that we sold in last week.
And thank you. With with that in line, how much of your energy and time goes to short-term metrics? I mean, you're a public company. Every quarter you have to give new
Yeah.
numbers to investors, and of course, I think you don't want to let them down or something. But being the CEO of a public company, how much of your energy and time goes to short-term metrics versus the long-term metrics?
Yeah, I was joking. It is a joke. I was
Yeah.
joking with a colleague. We had our board meeting yesterday. So I told the team, they're stuck with me for another 91 days. The board gave me another 91 days until I have to come back to them again. But
Yeah.
for it's hard. I definitely believe long term. I didn't tell you what this year's number is going to be. I told you where our 5 year number is going to be. But
Yes.
I do have to be honest that yes, my job is to meet my investors' aspirations, and yeah, unfortunately, every 91 days we do have earnings. What I feel great about is again talking about culture is my colleagues, my teammates, right? We're all in it together. We are not going to do anything in the short term to jeopardize the long term. Again, we don't, in past jobs I've had with other companies, end of quarter, we do crazy, stupid inventory things such that we can make the numbers look good. We don't do that here, right? Because it's just
Yeah.
inefficient. So yes, I want to make sure we hit our numbers, and we do, right? Top line, I've done this now
Yeah.
11 times and, every quarter. Um, but I care about the long, I am building alongside my colleagues a billion-dollar business. And if that means I certainly don't feel rushed to do stupid things to sacrifice the future.
I feel like I have been studying the company before you were in the company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I feel it's very installed in the culture that the goal is long term, the industry is growing at his pace,
Yep.
and you as a company are getting to new places, and that takes time. So I don't feel like versus other companies, people expecting to have a surprisingly quarter uh, next week, right?
Yep.
So I think you guys made a great job sharing that message. Before going to the company, last question I have for you is, um, what's something you have changed your mind about in the last 12 months, either in life or business, that you want to share with us?
Wow, you asked the really simple questions, huh? Not at all. Very philosophical. Um, I
It
don't know.
could
I
be in
think,
life, maybe with your child, right?
well, yes, I've spoken to you a lot about our boys, so that's the most important thing to me. So, My wife and I have two boys, and my older son is going to college. He's graduating high school this year, so he got his first choice. He's going to Washington University in St. Louis. I'm very proud of him.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it is cool. My younger son, Alexander, he's a freshman this year. I think it's cool to watch them. I certainly didn't have all the answers. I still don't have all the answers, and to watch them grow. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a tough question. I've been doing
Yeah.
this for 3 years. I feel like I always have an answer for investors. You are the first person to stump me in 3 years. Congratulations. Well
You can
done.
leave it for the for the end of the interview.
There
That's
you
good.
go.
That's good.
You asked me
Yeah.
again.
I
Good.
I made my homework, right?
Yes.
I don't want to ask questions that people can go and watch them in the investor
Yeah, no,
relations
those are good.
page.
Those are good questions.
So, talking about the company, right? You have the
Yeah.
answer. So let's go back to that.
Okay.
Last
My
quarter, you
wife has
guys,
my wife has all the answers for the home stuff, so I'm pretty okay at the work stuff.
good, good. So last quarter, you guys invested in new grills, right?
Yep. Yep.
You mentioned me that that can maybe grow 50 to 100% of the production of chickens, right? Is that right?
Double. Yeah, over
Double.
100%. Over
Perfect.
100%. Yep.
Perfect. So my question is there already demand for that chicken or you were preparing before the demand?
No, it's great. It's a double win. So the first win was we were very inefficient last year, right?
Yeah.
Because we only had two grills and lots of demand. We were working literally 3 shifts a day. We were working like 20 plus hours, 22 hours. Obviously, you need some time for cleaning.
Yeah.
So it was and 7 days a week. So we were paying overtime, very inefficient. I know people were working way too hard, right? I don't want to burn out our team. One thing I'm very proud of is in both of our facilities, the average tenure is very high, literally 5 plus years, closer to, way closer to 10 years than it is to 5 years. So we're a family, and I don't like to see them working too hard. It's just not cool. And so the first thing is once we had two more grills, four grills, the first thing is we were just able with the same work to calm down for a minute, right? Now we work 5 days a week. That means it's cheaper. We don't pay for overtime. We
Yeah.
don't ruin our equipment, so the maintenance is better, right? So
Yeah.
PMs, preventative maintenance. So the first step was now that we had the four grills, we could do the same work more efficiently. The second thing is we pushed off work. Customers would say, "Can we want to order?" And we'd say no. Now we're able to meet demand and fulfill pent up demand. So no, I'm already thinking about with Skip, our COO,
Yeah.
grill 5 and 6. We're already talking about grill 5 and 6.
Good. So to people get an idea how many percentage of the revenue comes from chicken?
I'd say 50-50. 50%
50.
of it's chicken, 50% of it is beef. So
Perfect.
think meatballs or sausage and peppers, meatloaf, things like that.
Yeah, good. And these grills are in farming there, right?
Yeah. You're
Good.
coming to
So
visit us, right?
yeah, I will go. I will
I'm
go.
very excited for your visit.
So you don't have I'll see, of course, with my eyes, but you told me that you don't have more space for new grills in Farmingdale. So what's the plan when you get over
Yeah,
demand,
yeah.
right? You need
Yep.
more.
So what's wonderful is we were very lucky, both in Farmingdale and in East Rutherford. Um, we were able to expand both of our facilities. So in Farmingdale, we used to use half that space for an office. We moved that to the other side of the street. Same in East Rutherford, we rented half the building. Now we're renting the full building. So the first step, we were able to double our capacity in both spaces in existing space. The next solution is, and this is why uh, inorganic growth, acquisitions are so important. We're
Yes.
not looking for a company that doesn't have a location, right? That does it out of their house. We are not. We are not looking for a company that built a building and they're already at 120% of their capacity. What we love to see is a company that I'm making up all the numbers that has 50,000 square feet of space, but accidentally they're only using 25,000 square feet. Because what that will allow us to do is accidentally put another grill in there, and I'm going to make this up. Say we buy a soup company and
Yeah.
25,000 square feet are, kettles for soup. The other 25,000 square feet, and I'm going to pick a place, we find a company in Utah because my boys like to ski. How great would it be that we could put another chicken grill there, or we could put a new linear chicken grill or a spiral oven for meatballs? Now we could actually produce other items in that space. And it comes with, this is the most important thing, already an incredible team, right, of employees with the right culture.
Yes.
And now automatically on day one, we have a great culture in our Utah facility that makes soup, but now also makes chicken and meatloaf.
I see. I see. So apart from space, what else are you looking in an M&A? What's your playbook to acquire a new
Yeah,
company?
yeah. So the most important thing for me is capabilities. So often people buy other companies for revenue, right? And make them no disrespect, in my past, we weren't growing, right? Cookies and
Yes.
crackers wasn't growing, so we needed to find alternative places to grow, and that's why we got into premium items. We got into in-store bakery. We got into the nutrition bar category. We don't have that problem at Mama's. Last quarter, we grew what, 25%? For the whole
Yes.
year, we grew almost 20%. So we don't have a growth problem. What I love is the capabilities. We acquired a company last year before, Chef Inspirational, and you say, "Oh, Adam, you got revenue." Nope, don't care. What I care about is we got an amazing woman who is now leading our logistics efforts. Do you know our logistics have been cut by more than 50% since Rebecca came online?
Wow.
550. Our
Yeah.
costs are half of what they used to be. We
That's
brought in an
huge.
amazing woman that's able to help us for logistics for the whole company, right?
Yeah.
She came from Chef Inspirational. Mary Jo leads our accounts receivables efforts. When I first started here, we had millions and millions of dollars past due. Now nothing's past due, thanks to Mary Jo. And again, right, that you think revenue, I think capabilities, people. And when we acquired Creative Salads, we doubled our manufacturing footprint, right? We got into the
Yeah.
chicken category, we got into the salads category. Now we have redundancy, meaning, God forbid, if something should happen in East Rutherford, we could still make meatballs in Farmingdale. If something should happen in Farmingdale, we could still make chicken in East Rutherford. So capabilities, people capabilities, production capabilities, equipment, that to me is why, or sorry, I should continue. New customers,
Yeah.
right? If we found out there's customers out there that we're not in, and we acquire a company, that's great. We're already in. Now we could cross sell, right? Remember, I told you average items carried. Now we could
Yeah.
cross sell. So whether it be new customers, new categories, new channels, that's what I'm looking for in an acquisition.
Good. Yeah. I mean, if you want salad, maybe you want chicken as well, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
How much of your time goes to M&A of your team as well?
So I try to do most of the M&A. I want my team to be focused on, the fun stuff.
Okay.
But obviously once we get close on an acquisition, meaning we have to do diligence, obviously we bring all the folks in.
I already hear this, but you mentioned there were between 12,000 companies, private companies in this industry, not to be acquired, but we know the industry, right? So some chef start selling salads, and he gets old. Their child doesn't want to go with the company. How many companies are there for a probably M&A in the industry?
Oh, wow. So we have, and like you mentioned, I've been doing M&A for a few years now. So I
Yeah.
have my own M&A playbook.
Yeah.
We have a pipeline of companies in the space. What's wonderful is it's a very full pipeline. So there are literally thousands of deli companies out there. And remember, and you know this better than I do, we are the only publicly traded deli company in America. Full stop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's half a dozen billion-dollar brands, but this is primarily a very fragmented industry. There are thousands of mom and pop shops that make the best potato salad in Kentucky or wherever, and they have a great life and they've built a great company. Their grandmother or grandfather started it, right?
Yeah.
And they're good. They put their kids through college and everything, and they don't need to do anything more. They have a great business.
Yeah. They could sell out and they'll be happy.
There you go.
Right.
So what
Yeah.
I'm seeing, and I speak to a lot. I was actually just traveling earlier this week for a company that we're looking at.
Yeah.
I've met a number of companies that the leaders tend to be a little bit older, right? And they're looking to retire, and their kids, don't want to take over the family business.
Yeah.
And what I love is they really love their people. So I'll tell you a story of, it's they have 100 employees and they've known these people for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
and they longer, 20 years. And they know that if they just shut the business down, personally for themselves, financially, they're fine. But what are they going to do with their 100 employees? And they're looking out for their 100 employees. So the only way for them to continue is for someone else to take over the business. And that's where we come in. I'm not looking to, blow everything up. I want to accelerate what they're already doing. So I would hope
Yeah.
I am a great partner. I truly believe I'm a partner that could help continue their family legacy, their family brand, and their employees.
So you have done a great job reducing the debt of the company. Um, how you're planning to do these acquisitions? Wait.
Exactly what you just said. So I think when I started, I think we had like $800,000 of cash my first day on the job, and now
Yeah.
we have what 7 million. We have earnings coming up in 2 weeks, so look out.
Yeah.
When I started, what do we have? 10, $15 million of debt. Now we have like five.
Yes.
So what we've been able to do is we actually now have more cash on our books than debt. We're under levered. I'm getting yelled at by investors. We don't have enough debt. So we have put ourselves in a great place such that now we could acquire other businesses and we have the cash. We have great
Okay.
relationships with our bank, our commercial bank, with great pricing. Um, and we have equity, right?
Yes.
The reason why we're publicly traded allows us to, share in our success.
Of
So there's
course.
that opportunity as well.
Good. Last questions. Last two questions, and you owe me an answer. So
Yes, I got to
the-
come up. What did I learn? I got to call my wife. Can I phone a friend?
yes, you can. Just
There you
one.
go.
So, what are the main risks that you see for your plan, uh, for your 1 billion plan?
Um, So obviously, I tell folks I feel really good. Internally, we are set for success. What I
Yes.
can't control is the macro environment, right? So we all know Jerome Powell is the chairman of the US Federal Reserve. If he does something crazy, obviously I can't control that, right?
Yes.
Um, to try to make you laugh. So I think there's three elements to why we're doing so well in the deli space. The first one is people don't have the money these days. I don't expect that you did, but if you look at our inflation numbers that came out in the US last week, our
Hmm.
CPI, out of
Yeah.
home inflation, so think of restaurants, the inflation was 2x, two times as high
Wow.
as in home inflation. Literally, at home inflation last month went down zero point 0.4 and out of home went up zero point 0.4. So what's happening is it's more expensive to eat out.
Yeah.
That helps us, right? Because that's deli prepared, right? That helps us. So the
Of course.
first problem, I'll give you three problems that kind of mess up our $1 billion. The first one, Adam, I could see the future. Everyone in America is going to be rich. If everyone in America has an extra $100 billion in their bank account, I assume they'll go out to eat more, and that would hurt us.
Yeah.
So, first problem is if everyone in the world becomes rich. Number two, I believe people continue to be time constrained. My wife and I both work. So when we get home, I'd rather just, beat up my kids and have fun with them, right? And horse around or play games versus sitting at the stove and cooking for an hour. So the number two thing that could hurt our business is if you tell me, Adam, everyone is going to quit their job because they're already super rich and everyone has
Mhm.
24 hours a day to cook. So that's the second problem. The third and last problem that would really hurt us is I believe people are trying to eat cleaner, trying to eat better, right?
Yeah.
If you tell me, during COVID, people started eating a lot more ice cream and chocolate because the world was coming to an end. So if you told me that, Adam, no one cares about eating healthy anymore. People just want to eat McDonald's and Big Macs all day. That would hurt our business. So as long
Yeah.
as you don't tell me the world's getting super rich, everyone has free time, and everyone wants to eat badly,
Yeah.
that would hurt us. I don't believe any of those three things are going to happen in the future, and that's why I believe Deli Prepared is going to do quite well.
Good answer.
Good
And
answer there. Okay, pretty good.
last question is, when are the products gonna be in my supermarket in Panama?
Could you help me out? If you could introduce me to the stores, I'll get it to you.
Of course I
Um,
can. Of course I
we're,
can. They are in Puerto Rico, right?
we are working on Puerto Rico. So yes, Luke, our head of investor relations, lives in Puerto Rico, and he's very passionate that I help him out. But we're working on it. Look, there's this is a $40 billion category.
Yeah.
I still think we have a little bit of under penetration in the U.S. So I'm going to
Yeah,
focus on the U.S. before we
I
move on
agree. I
to
agree.
Panama.
I
Yes,
agree. I'll go to the US and eat some
there you go.
paninis and chicken, right?
Yes, you better bring an extra suitcase. So on the way home,
Yeah,
I could fit all the frozen food into your suitcase.
I will. Nothing. Thank you, Adam. I don't know if you thought about what have you learned in the last 12 months in life or business that you want to share.
I think it's I'll give you two. I'll give you a business one. I'll give you a personal one. The business one, it's
Okay.
actually pretty interesting. I've been in the food for a very long time, so I've worked with the FDA, right? The Food and Drug Administration that deals with
Yes.
cookies and salty snacks and crackers and then candy. As hard as that is, and it's right, food quality is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Working with raw chicken and raw beef, you have to work with the USDA. And I will tell you, I think about it a lot. Quality is really important. We spend a lot of money on quality testing to understand, to test constantly for salmonella and listeria, and we use actually we don't have to, but we use X-ray technology now. Normally you have to use metal detection.
Yeah.
We say that's not enough. I want to use X-ray technology now. So now we have X-ray technology in our facilities. But
Okay.
I will tell you, I thought I knew everything there's to know about food and safety. Coming here, working with raw beef and chicken, that has definitely been I respect and I appreciate so much our quality team and our QA team. That's a big thing in business that I thought I knew everything, right? Everyone thinks that they know everything, and that was a
Yeah.
bit eye-opening for me. I'll tell you my personal one. It's funny. So it's been 3 years. When we told the boys, it was so funny. I think my older son, was old enough to realize, wait a minute, daddy's getting a new job. I should probably, you know, I don't think he was happy enough, but he was quiet. I think he realized enough that he shouldn't say anything bad, right? Because he was old enough. My full
Yeah.
14-year-old, who was 11 at the time, obviously he wasn't that mature. So he started crying about, wait a minute, where are my Oreos and my Sour Patch Kids? And I don't even like meatballs. And my younger son is my wife's son, right? In the sense that he wants to be her when he grows up, and my wife's in finance. So
Okay.
immediately, without saying anything, he's going on to Yahoo Finance and he's like, Mondelez is at $60 a share and Mama's he's at only $1 a share. And why are you leaving? So it was so, we love our boys so much, and
Yeah.
right, that's why we do what we do. And I think just seeing how smart the boys are getting, and how they're interested in building the business. The boys come with me on the weekends to the factory.
Okay.
That is for me the coolest part, and pleasant surprise as I've grown at this company.
Yeah, I mean, I bet he likes more meatballs now than crackers and sugar fats, maybe.
No, you know what? My boys love me. I know they do, but I think that if I told them I was going back to Sour Patch Kids and Oreos, I think they
They
wouldn't
will be
mind.
happy.
But yes, I think they'd be happy.
Good, good. Thanks for sharing, Adam. Thanks for your time. I'm very excited to see you in a couple of months in the HQ. I'm
Yes,
very thankful for the opportunity and all the reception you guys gave me from the for the first second. I'll be surely with the company. This is not a investor recommendation. My community knows that, but I'll be in the with the company like I have been before you were here. So thank you
so you
for
you've
doing
had a
what you
pretty good
do.
return, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I actually
Yeah, I
do.
do. Okay, good.
And I
Well,
believe I was too have.
there you go. Edixon is very excited. He will be rolling out the red meatball carpet and the
Yeah.
chicken carpet. So we're all set.
I'm sure he will be watching this interview. I have no doubt.
I did okay, because I know he's going to give me criticism if I didn't say everything properly. Edixon's the real boss. That's what it is.
You did well. You did well. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
again. Thanks to the community for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much. Bye.